Hello and welcome to another episode of Cooking with Cleavage. Today we're making steaks because apparently there was some National Steak Day with something else that I'm not going to mention this month. I'll mention it later. And so I have steaks here drying off on paper towels to get really, really dry. I don't usually make steaks, but from what I understand, they're supposed to be really dry before you put them on the grill, and that helps get that crust. So that's what we're doing here. I have green beans that I've cleaned and cut the ends off of. I'm just going to take some of these garlic, like thick garlic like this, and just spread them throughout. And I have shallots that are nice and sliced, and I'm just going to mix that all together. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. I keep my olive oil in the fridge, and that's why it looks like this. But it helps it not to go bad too soon. But just make sure all of that's nice and coated. Whoops. That looks nice, like they're nice and coated. And then you want to salt and pepper them. Just going to use this coarse salt here. And a little bit of Tony Chachere's. That's just a type of pepper mixture that we have here in Louisiana. And I'm going to make sure all these garlic halves are spread throughout here. Just like this. And I'll put a little bit more of those shallots, because the rest of the shallots I'm just going to use for the steak. Okay, and I have the oven at 375. I'm going to put that in the oven. Should have taken this middle one out. So another thing that we had this month was St. Patrick's Day. So I thought I would make an Irish cocktail with beer. It's called an Irish car bomb, if you've ever had one. So this is Bailey's and Irish whiskey. And you take about half of an ounce. The way I read it, I haven't done one of these in years. You do about half of an ounce of Bailey's or Irish cream. And then you layer this slowly, the whiskey. You just put it right on top. And then you take a Guinness and you fill up a cup with it. The thing about Guinness is that it needs to build. So I would wait until it settles a little bit. Right? You don't want to do any more than that. Right? You see how it's actually settling? How the bottom of the glass is darker? It's settling. I haven't done one of these in so long. I guess we're supposed to let it settle. I don't usually drink Guinness without letting it settle, so thought I would let it get settled, you know. And it has a nice creamy top to it. I usually don't like all those bubbles on it, but it was from a can. It wasn't from the draft. Okay, so it looks like it's getting close. You want it to probably be about that color. Then you drop it in and you have to drink it down really quickly. Otherwise, it curdles. So you have to drop it in and drink it down. That was a little different than other ones I've had because my shot glasses are so long that I didn't get the liquor till really the end. But that was nice. So next I'm going to get the steak. Okay, so I'm gonna instead of sauteing mushrooms, I'm just gonna try it in the oven tonight and see how easy we can make this. And I have more shallots, like I said, and garlic, but what I'm gonna do is get the mushrooms started. You don't even want to put salt on them. I found that if you put salt on mushrooms too early, it brings the water out of the mushrooms, and what you want to do is get them nice and like almost seal in the mushrooms. So I'm gonna put that in the oven like that, and I'm gonna look at the green beans and see if maybe they need to be stirred. Ooh, you see, you probably can't really hear it, but they're still a little bit hard. And you just want the heat to just penetrate, and you can hear the heat working down there. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more salt to these. Okay. And then we're gonna check on the mushrooms after a little while. Okay. Okay, now while all that's going, I'm gonna get the steaks completely ready to be put on the fire. And see how nice and dry it is? Yeah, that's how you want it. Really nice and dry. That way we can spread them out on here. See, a little glistening, but you just use the paper towel to blot it. Oh yeah, see, that one's a little thicker. But you have to pay attention to that when you're cooking them. That's a thinner one. All right. All right, and then I'm gonna wash my hands, and then I'm gonna salt and pepper them. Okay, so everything's still cooking in the oven, but I thought I would at least salt all of my steak. I have nice kosher salt here that I use when I have a clean hand. See? You wanna salt the beef. I read somewhere, somebody said, oh no, you don't have to salt your meat. Just, let's see, but you could pat it in there. All right. And then just sprinkle. You don't want it to be too spicy, but just a little sprinkle. And actually you can move the seasoning around like that. That might be a little. I'm not as good at my left hand as I am with my right, but I already got my other hand. Okay. And what you just want to do is just sear the steaks. I don't think it needs that much more. And some people like black pepper a lot. I know y'all know that I don't really like black pepper because I'm just not used to it. You know, I went camping with some friends last weekend, and one of my friends I love dearly, who's actually family as well, uses a lot of black pepper, and it's just, I can't, you know, if you're not used to it, you just can't handle it. So I'm gonna let these sit. I'm gonna check on everything, but I'm gonna wash my hands first. Okay, so I've been having these mushrooms in the oven on 375. Yum, and they look like they're perfect, right? They look like they're perfect where I could actually put a little bit of salt now because they have, actually I'm gonna take it out farther. that as far as it goes? Doesn't look like that many mushrooms now, huh? All right, and I got a, oh, I thought I got a wooden spoon out. Here it is. Ooh, that looks so good. And if I have this on correctly, maybe. Well, that one didn't fall over. That's good. Okay, you see how they're really cooking really nicely? Then what I'm going to do is, in the center of this, we can add the shallots. Try to make this easy so you know you don't have to stand over the hot stove and stir the whole time. All right, let's try to get that at least a little bit started to cook before we mix it all together, okay? Ooh, and let's see how the green beans are doing at the same time. Ooh. See, it's just so easy. Then you just have to come back to it. You could actually be entertaining people while you're doing this kind of cooking. You know, like seriously. You just have to stir every now and then people get to smell the delicious food that you have cooking. Who wouldn't want to come over for a party like that? So, okay, we're gonna let that cook a little bit longer. Okay, so we're about to put the steaks on. What I did is I continued to cook everything in the oven. The green beans are almost ready. As you can tell, when I stir them, see how nice and cooked they're getting? That's pretty much done, right? And we have the mushrooms. Oh, it's like such good yumminess. It's all just coming together like that. Yum. So I think we can turn all this off and just let the oven cool down and keep them in the oven, right? So get the oven nice and hot again, right before you turn it off. Okay, and then this has been on for a few minutes. I can feel the heat coming off of it. Thought I would, this is the first time I've using this since I bought my new oven, y'all. And so this side will maybe put some nice marks on the meat for us, right? Make us feel like we're eating some good grill steak. Okay, so you see how this one's a little bit thicker than the rest? So I think I'm gonna put that one on first. I'm gonna put it in the back here because when my oven is on, it's hotter back there. This one looks like the next thick. And this is the third thick. Is there a rule about not touching steaks when you grill them? I don't know. Have to look that up. But that looks like it's good. And most of the websites I read said between 3 and 4 minutes, depending on the cut, right? So that one's thicker. So it's at 8:18. I'm going to come back at 8:21 and see how it looks. Okay, so the steaks are almost done. We had to cook them a little bit longer, so I thought I would do the blowjob shot now because that was the day, the steak and blowjob day. Ha ha, ha ha. So I'm going to do a blowjob shot while the steaks are cooking, right? And from what I remember, it's some Baileys. I think I'm doing this right. It's been a long time. And some Kahlua. And what you want to do is layer it. So if you take a little spoon, so that way it just drips on the Baileys. Usually you put it like against the side of the glass, but it didn't really do a great job because the spoon was a little too... Oh, look at that. Look at that. It's almost Delicious. And then you top it with some whipped cream, right? I just homemade some whipped cream. And then the whole point is you're supposed to be able to lift up the glass with just your mouth, okay? Sorry, I couldn't swallow without using my hands. So the steaks are almost ready and we're gonna take those off in just a second. Okay, so I took everything off and I put some of this mushrooms and shallots and garlic mixture and put it on top of the steak. I did top the steaks with some butter after I took them off. And then these are the green beans, yum, that have been cooking with the garlic. Look how nice and soft that is. It's delicious. So all these flavors should be very well permeated together. Oh, probably could have been taken off a little sooner. Oh, it doesn't even matter because it's so moist. It's delicious. You can really taste all the flavors working together. Let me try the green bean. Whoops. That's a perfect meal. Great. So thank you for joining me for another episode of Cooking with Cleavage. I'm going to sit here and enjoy this steak for a little bit. And I'm glad y'all tuned in. It's been a while. I'll be back soon, okay?